set up blanket and blocks by your mat, and we are going to start this morning in child's pose. So child's pose, big toes are touching, but your feet are not stacked on top of one another. Big toes touching. Knees can be hip distance. They can be as wide as your mat. So whatever feels best to you. Hips sink back towards the heels. You can always grab yourself a pillow. We are going to be here for some extra minutes. So make yourself as comfortable as you can. Forehead should be supported on something, whether that's hands, a pillow, or the floor. Arms can be in front, stacked under your head, back by your feet, somewhere in between, whatever works for you. Find some nice, slow, deep breaths. And then see how it all feels. See what you notice. First thing I'm noticing is some tightness in my hips. Not so much the back of the hips, but in the hip creases themselves. So that's where I'm going to focus my breath to create a little bit of space and a little softening there. Maybe you're feeling it in the ankles or in the back or in the shoulders. Wherever you're feeling it, take your breath there and see if you can't soften. Breathing in and breathing out. I'm going to take about 5 or 6 more breaths here. And then go ahead and lift the gaze, bring the arms out in front, spread the fingers wide, extend the elbows, roll the shoulders out of the ears. Push back into those heels, or hips to the heels for just another breath here. And then we're going to come through onto our belly. So we're going to shoot through forehead, nose, chin, chest, all the way back down onto our bellies. Bring the legs straight back behind you. Plant the hands next to the lower ribs, thumbs maybe tucked at your lower ribs. The heels of your hands may be all the way down towards your waist. Press firmly into the tops of the feet, lift the kneecaps. Squeeze those elbows in nice and tight, pull the belly in. And then lift head, heart, shoulders. And exhale, release. Charge up those legs, tailbone reaching for the heels. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Moving with our breath, inhale, lift. Exhale, release. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Come all the way back down. Stack one hand on top of the other. Rest your forehead on your hands. Bend the knees and wave the feet from side to side. Letting all of that go. Take one more breath here. Go ahead, release the feet, plant the hands again, and press yourself up to tabletop. Fingers are spread wide, index finger is pointed forward. Hips are lined up over the knees, feet behind the knees. And then we're just going to inhale, reach the heart forward, and exhale, round. Push the floor away. Inhale, open the chest back up. And exhale, round. And we're going to go back and forth here. Spend 5, 6, 7 breaths. So feel free to add any extra movements that might feel good. Just moving that spine around. Meet back at a neutral spine. Now we're going to keep the fingertips pointed forward. We're going to bend the right elbow, bringing the forearm down to the floor and kind of look to the left. Straighten that arm, lifting the elbow back up again. Left elbow is going to come down to the floor and look to the right. So the right arm stays extended, left elbow is bent. Release, back to center. Right elbow comes down, forearm comes down, look to the left. Release, back through center. Left elbow comes down, look to the right. Back to center. Again, just go back to some freedom of movement here. It can be cat-cow, it can be circles, it can be more of that sort of twisting of the upper back. Whatever feels good to you, move the head around, move the hips around. Send the left leg out to the side. Sit the hips back towards that right heel. Walk your hands over towards that left foot. So we're definitely getting into that left inner thigh, a little bit into the hamstring, but also opening up the right side of the body here. Take another breath. Hands come back to center. Back up to tabletop. Right leg goes out to the side. Set the hips back towards that left heel. Walk your hands over towards that right ankle. Getting into that right leg, but also opening up the left side body. Take another breath. Back to center. Back up to tabletop. Walk the hands forward, one handprint. Curl the toes under. Extend the legs into plank pose. Lightly tap the ground with your right knee. Pick it back up. Left knee. Pick it back up. Right. Pick it back up. Left. Pick it back up. Lift the hips. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. Soft, soft knees. Lift the tailbone. Don't worry about straightening the knees. Think about getting those hip points pointed up towards the ceiling. You can shimmy the shoulders a little. We're going to take a couple of breaths down here, so feel free to shift the weight around or shake the head or whatever feels good to you. I need to warm up my toes. One more breath down here. Slide the hands up the shins to just below the kneecaps. Leave the knees bent. Straighten the elbows. Reach the heart forward, shoulders back. Now, people's tendency here is to lock the knees. The tailbone comes under when you do that. I want you to soften the knees and lift the tailbone. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Inner thighs roll back, tailbone lifts. Exhale, forward fold. One more time. Inhale, halfway lift. Pull those shoulders back, pull the belly in, lift the tailbone. Exhale, forward fold. Deep bend in the knees. Inhale all the way up, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release, walk yourself out to plank pose. Drop that left knee straight down. Let the left foot wander off to the left. Drop the right heel. Reach the right arm up and alongside the ear. Open the chest. Rooting through the outside edge of that right foot. Reaching through that right shoulder. Exhale, release, back to plank pose. Right knee comes straight down, right foot wanders off to the right. Drop that left heel, left arm reaches up and alongside the ear. Lengthening again from outside edge of the foot through the shoulder. Exhale, release, plank pose. Rock forward, knees down. Lift the gaze, lower slow and controlled all the way to your belly. Press firmly into the tops of the feet. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Press yourself up and back to child's pose. We were here before. How different does it feel? A lot different, little different, not different. Totally just gathering information still. There's no right or wrong answers. One more breath. Back up to tabletop. Once again, left leg comes out to the side. Sit the hips back towards that right heel. Walk yourself over towards that left leg. One more breath. Bring yourself back to center. Go ahead and sit upright. This time we're going to drop down onto that right hip and bring the left leg over the right. Let's sit in a little bit of a twist here. So we've got the left leg on top. Our right heel is over by our left hip. My left heel is not all the way back towards my right hip, but that's the direction. Now the key is, how do I get weight equally distributed between both hips? My right hip is definitely heavier than my left, so I want to shift the weight over to the left a little bit. If that doesn't bring that left hip down, then go ahead and lift that right hip up.
We want the hips level. So if the left isn't going to come down to the right, then lift the right up to meet the left. And just sit up nice and tall. Go ahead and inhale, arms up overhead. Bend this right elbow. Place the hand, it's about the base of my neck. Yours might be a little bit higher. It might be a little bit lower than mine. And take the left hand, place it on that right elbow. Encourage that elbow up a little bit higher and then the hand down a little bit lower. Take another breath here. And release. Bring that left leg back out, around, and we'll come back to our tabletop. Right leg out to the side. Bring the hips back to that left heel again. Walk the hands over towards that right leg. Feel it wherever you're feeling it. One more breath. Bring yourself back to center. Lift the torso back up. You're going to drop over onto that left hip and bring that right leg up and around. So we end up with the right knee on top of the left. My left heel is over towards my right hip. And then you want to play with that weight distribution again. Is all the weight in that left hip? Can you get that right hip down to the floor? If not, pick that left hip up. Because again, we want the hips level. If the right won't come down to the left, then lift the left up to meet the right. Just sit up nice and tall for a few moments. This is really about height. Lift up out of those hips. Try not to collapse down in them. Go ahead and reach arms up overhead. Bend that left elbow. The hand comes back of the neck. Right hand on that left elbow. Encourage that elbow a little bit higher and then the hand a little bit further down. Just hang out here for a few breaths. One more. Inhale, arms back up. Bring the hands back down. Swing that right leg back behind you and back to tabletop. Walk the hands forward, one hand print. Extend the legs into plank pose. Start to lift the hips and walk the feet up to meet the hands this time. All 10 toes pointed forward, soft knees. Enjoy your forward fold for a few breaths. Slide the hands up the shins to just below the kneecaps. Straighten the elbows. Lift the tailbone. Soft knees. Exhale, forward fold. Deep bend in the knees. Inhale all the way up. Arms reach up overhead. Exhale, heart center. Separate your feet. Outer hip distance. Still all 10 toes pointed forward. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Reach the knuckles away. Open the chest. Soften the knees. And forward fold. Now you can just hang out right here, just reaching those knuckles away. What we're working on here is squeezing the shoulder blades together.
So don't let those shoulders sort of round up, down, towards your ears. Reach the knuckles away and squeeze the shoulder blades. You can also add a little softening of one knee and softening of the other if that feels good. Take another breath here. Release the hands. Step the left foot to the back of the mat. Frame that right foot, so you might have to wiggle it into the middle a little bit. We want right knee over right ankle, hip in line with knee. Rock front to back a few times, and then bring that left knee straight down. You can leave the toes curled under if you'd like, or the top of the foot to the floor. Go ahead and walk yourself up that right leg. Belly in, ribs in. So back off the bend in that right knee a little bit. We want the tailbone down. We're not looking to just sort of give ourselves a back bend here and have those ribs pop forward. Pull in the belly. You can stay with hands on that right thigh. Maybe that's exactly what you need this morning, or reach arms up overhead. Take another breath here. Exhale, release. Hands come down inside. Once again, wiggle that right foot off to the right a little bit. For just a moment, or perhaps longer, curl the left toes under and pick up that left knee. Just so we can sort of check our alignment here. We want right knee over right ankle and hip in line with knee. Now you can leave that left knee lifted if you'd like, or bring the knee straight down. Just don't collapse that left hip. Keep the hips level. And then you can decide if you want to start to sink the heart down inside that knee. Maybe it's just a little softening of the elbows. Maybe the forearms come all the way to the floor. Something in between might be elbows on a block. Take another breath here. Release, plant the hands again. Push yourself all the way back up. Curl the back toes under. Pick up that back knee and place the left foot outside the left hand. Go really soft in those knees. Just let everything dangle here for a moment. And then we're going to roll up slow and controlled. Head and shoulders come up last. And then those shoulders slide back down towards the hips. Leaving the feet outer hip distance, maybe even mat distance. Once again, interlace fingers behind the back, but have the awkward thumb on top this time. Soften the knees. Reach the knuckles away, opening the chest, squeezing the shoulder blades, and forward fold. Soften one knee, soften the other, or just work on squeezing the shoulder blades. The neck should be free to move. Whatever feels good. Take one more breath. Release the hands. Step the right foot to the back of the mat. Wiggle that left foot back in underneath you. Find your alignment here. Left knee over ankle, hip in line with knee so that left thigh is parallel with the floor. Rock front to back a few times on those right toes and then bring that right knee straight down. Go ahead and walk yourself up that left leg. Pull in the belly, pull in the ribs. It's really about getting that tailbone down. So
Right now my tailbone's a little popped out to the back, but if I pull in the belly and ribs, I can get that tailbone to point straight down. And then you can stay with hands on that left thigh, bending into that knee, or reach arms up overhead. Take another breath here. Exhale, release. Hands come down around. Bring the left hand inside. Wiggle that left foot off to the left a little bit. Plant the hands under the shoulders. You've given yourself the room by moving the foot off to the side. Curl the right toes under. Pick up that right knee. So now you can decide if you want to keep that right knee lifted or bring it down to the mat. That's really more for alignment purposes. You want the right side of the body long and straight. You can bring that right knee down, just don't drop into that right hip. Keep the hips level. And then maybe a little bend in the elbows. Maybe forearms to the floor. Maybe forearms to a block. Take another breath here. Plant the hands, press the torso back up, curl the back toes under, pick up that knee, step the right foot outside the right hand. Once again, really soften those knees, roll all the way up. Arms reach up overhead. Lead the left arm alongside the ear, right hand comes down to that right thigh. Slide the right hand down towards that knee. Keep grounding into that left foot. Look up under that left arm. Inhale all the way back up and switch. Left hand slides down towards that left knee. Look up under that right arm. Keep grounding into that right foot. Inhale all the way back up. Grab opposite elbows, soft through the knees, forward fold. You can keep holding onto those elbows. You can let the arms dangle if you'd rather. You can wiggle the hips. You can stay still, whatever works for you. Take another breath here. Release the hands if you haven't already. Heel to walk the feet back in underneath you. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward and down. Step the left foot to the back of the mat. Right knee over ankle, hip in line with knee, with that left leg strong and straight. Bring that left knee straight down. And inhale, arms up. Belly in, ribs in. Bring both hands down inside that right foot. For just a moment, you're going to take that left foot and let it wander off to the right. Now, you can have a block underneath this right hand if you'd like, or you can leave fingertips down on the floor, but we're going to bend right knee over right ankle. Tendency is going to be to come back and reach that left arm up. Now, if this is too much, come up a little bit higher. We want there to be strength and energy of right knee and right arm pressing into one another to help with this twist. Take another breath. Release. Straighten out that left foot. Step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Forward and down. Step your right foot to the back of the mat. Knee over ankle, hip in line with knee. Bring that right knee straight down and inhale, arms up. Belly in, ribs in. Tailbone down. Exhale, release, both hands down inside. Let your right foot wander off to the left. Left wrist about lines up with the left ankle. That's how far forward. We want to press upper arm, maybe your shoulder, and that left knee into one another as we reach that right arm up. Now remember, once you're trying to execute this twist, feel free to add a block underneath that left hand. You could even come all the way up to forearm on thigh. Totally up to you. Take one more breath here. Exhale, release. Hands come down around. Step back, plank pose. Rock forward, knees down, lower slow and controlled all the way to your belly. Press into the tops of the feet, inhale, cobra. Exhale, release to child's pose. Or, if you would like, downward facing dog. Whatever your body needs. Take 2 more breaths wherever you're at. We are going to meet in a forward fold at the back of the mat. So one way or another, if you're in child's pose, curl those toes under, lift the knees and hips. If you're in down dog, walk your hands back towards your feet. Back of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale all the way up. Arms reach up overhead. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Walk yourself back out to plank pose. Bring that left knee straight down. Step the right foot up in between the hands. Leave the left hand under the left shoulder this time. Reach the right arm up. Pull in the belly. The tendency here is going to be to just sort of collapse the hips and drop a lot of weight into that left arm. I want you to lift, activate those core muscles. Squeeze the hips together, so much so that you have the control to lift yourself up and open to the right. Sweep that right arm forward. Inhale, both arms up. Both hands now come down inside that right foot. Left foot's going to wander to the left. We're going to leave the right arm connected with that right leg as we reach the left arm up. This time reach the left arm alongside the ear. Keep twisting. Keep using the arm and the leg to open the chest. Exhale, release, both hands down inside. Wiggle that right foot off to the right. Straighten out that left leg. Pick up that left knee and sink down inside that right hip. And again, you are welcome to bring that left knee down to the floor. Just don't collapse the left side of the body. Take another breath here. Exhale, release. Plank pose. Right knee comes straight down. Left foot steps up in between the hands, all the way to the top, till the ankle is under the knee. Leave the right hand under the right shoulder. It can be on the block or the floor. Reach that left arm up. Opening the chest. Squeeze the belly. Squeeze the hips towards one another. Get lighter and lighter in that right hand until you inhale up and open to the left. There's definitely a balance challenge here. I can feel all the muscles in my legs firing. One more breath. Exhale, release, both hands down inside. Let that right foot wander to the left. Leave the left arm and left leg engaging in towards one another as you reach that right arm up, taking as much height under that left hand as you need. Might not be the same as the height you needed under the right hand. Reach that right arm alongside the ear. One more breath. Exhale, release, both hands down inside. Wiggle that left foot off to the left. Curl the back toes under. Pick up that knee and maybe sink down inside. Allowing that right knee to drop when you're ready, just not collapsing the right hip. Take another breath here. Exhale, release. Plank pose. To either child's pose or downward facing dog. And take a few breaths here. Lengthening the spine. Inhale, plank. Left knee comes straight down. Right foot steps up in between the hands. All the way to the top. Left hand under the left shoulder. Reach that right arm up. Pull in the belly, the ribs. Get nice and strong through those hips as we inhale up and open to the right again. Option this time to drop that right hand down. Lift the left arm up and maybe bend a little bit deeper into that left knee. Even though we've got a little back bend happening here, keep pulling the belly in. Keep engaging through the core. One more breath. Exhale, release. Both hands down inside. Let that left foot wander off to the right. Right hand's gonna stay under the right shoulder, connecting arm and right leg together. Reach that left arm up and alongside the ear. Now this time we're once again, pull in the belly, engage those hips. We're gonna inhale up and open to the left. Bring the arms to shoulder height. Bend into that right knee till it's over that right ankle. Left knee is behind that left hip. Exhale, release. Plank pose. Right knee comes straight down. Left foot steps up in between. Leave the right hand under the right shoulder. Reach that left arm up. Pulling in the belly, squeezing those hips together. Open up to the left. Option to bring the left hand down to that right thigh and the right arm up and back. Still engaging through the belly. So I'm using this back leg quite a bit to help with my balance, really grounding into the top of that back foot. One more breath. Exhale, release. Both hands down inside. Right foot's gonna wander off to the left. Connection between left leg and left arm. Reach that right arm up and alongside the ear. When you're ready, start to pull it all in. Push yourself up and open. One more breath. Exhale, release. Hands come down around. Curl the back toes under. Pick up that knee and step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale all the way up. Arms reach up overhead. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release, plank pose. Rock forward, knees down, lower slow and controlled all the way to your belly. Press firmly into the tops of the feet, kneecaps are lifted, tailbone is rooted. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Leave the left hand where it is. Open your right arm out to the side, palm down. Now we're going to press into that left hand and roll to our right side. So I want you to keep this right arm active. So you're going to press the palm down, press the inner elbow down, really push into the floor. And since the floor more than likely is not going to move, the shoulder is going to engage and perhaps that lifts. Not much, just takes less weight. Put more weight into that inner elbow. Now you can stay right here, or if you'd like, bend that top knee, point the knee up towards the ceiling, place the foot on the floor behind you. One more breath. Exhale, release. Back down onto your belly and switch the arms. So left arm is out at a T, right hand is kind of where cobra would be. Press into that right hand, roll onto that left side. So now I can just sort of rest here, kind of feels nice. But if I really want to get into that shoulder, press the inner elbow down, activate that left arm so that the shoulder might get a little bit lighter. Then you have the option to bend that top knee, point the knee up towards the ceiling, place the foot on the floor behind you. It is optional. All of this is. One more breath. Exhale, release. Go ahead and roll over onto your back. Knees bent, blocks, blankets, all the stuff you love nearby. Go ahead and cross the right ankle over that left knee and let the right knee move out to the side. We're going to keep this left foot active. So you're going to flex the foot and spread the toes, placing the ankle just at the top of that, up towards that left knee. Now this may be enough. Maybe all you need to do is give just a little bit of pressure to that right knee out to the side and you've got yourself a good stretch. If so, you have found where you are going. You're going to stay right here. Otherwise, if you need a little bit more, we're going to keep that right knee out to the side and maybe place the left foot on a block. We're still resisting that right knee away. If you still want a little bit more, you can pull the left knee in towards the chest, hooking the hands on the back of the thigh, and then use that right elbow to continue to resist that left knee away. Right knee away. Both feet are flexed. Think about lifting the chest and grounding the shoulders. Pressing the tailbone down. So what happens if you press the tailbone down and get a little bit of that lumbar curve back? One more breath. Place the left foot down on the floor. Open the arms to a T. Both the legs go over to the right, letting that right knee and thigh come to the floor. We're just going to hang out here for a couple of breaths. And then we're going to come back through center, keeping this shape of the ankle over the knee, and let the legs go off to the left. So now the right foot is on the floor, knee is up towards the ceiling. Take one more breath here. Bring the legs all the way back up again. Right knee into the chest, left leg goes long. Roll that right ankle around in circles. Hook the hands low on the hamstring, send the right heel up towards the ceiling, leave the knee soft. Roll that ankle around in circles. Knee comes back into the chest, give it another squeeze. And extend the right leg out on the mat. Bend the knees, plant the feet on the floor, cross the left ankle over that right knee. Flex the foot, spread the toes. Take a moment here, even if you think you're all knees to chest, take a moment here to feel this. Let that left knee wander out. Resist that left knee away from the torso. And then pause for a moment at the height of a block. Maybe that's where you need to be. Maybe you need to go back to the foot on the floor. And then decide if you want to pull that right knee in towards the chest, hooking the hands up the hamstring and resisting the left knee away with the left elbow. Both feet are flexed. Tailbone down, shoulder blades down. Doesn't matter if your feet down on the floor. If this is a stretch for you, then work on that spinal alignment at the same time. That's how you get deeper. Take another breath here. Right foot is planted firmly on the floor. Left ankle is still over the knee. Open the arms to a T. We're going to send the legs off to the left, letting the knee and thigh come down to the floor. The sole of the foot is kind of pointed up towards the ceiling. Take one more breath here. Bring the legs all the way back up, and we're going to send the legs off to the right. So that left foot's going to come to the floor
knee up towards the ceiling. One more breath. And bring the knees all the way back up. Pull the left knee into the chest. Let that right leg go long. Roll that left ankle around in circles. Hook the hands low on that left leg. Send the left heel up towards the ceiling. Leave the knee soft. Roll the ankle around in circles. Pull the knee into the chest. Give it a good squeeze and extend. Now this is where you're going to want either a block or a blanket. Depends on how much back bend you need. But we want to do just a little bit of passive opening of the front of the hips. So we're going to use some support under those hips. Bend the knees. Now if you're using a block, it's definitely the lowest setting. You're going to lift the hips, slide that block underneath. If you're using a blanket, you're going to lift the hips and slide a blanket or a pillow off your couch or whatever it may be, just to give a little lift to those hips. You can always change your mind once you're in it, but go ahead and get whatever support you're going to use underneath the sacrum, especially if you're using something harder like a block. You don't want that up into your lower back. You don't want it down the meat of the tush. Once you extend the legs, if it feels like your butt is falling off, then go ahead and slide it down, probably in 1/2 inch. If it feels like your lower back needs more support, then go ahead and slide the block up, maybe 1/2 inch. If it all feels like too much, swap it out for a pillow or a blanket. Let those abdominal muscles extend. Take another breath here. Bend the knees. And lift up off of whatever it is that you're using. Set your hips off center to the left. Open the arms to a T or goalpost. Bring the knees in and over to the right. So it was hips to the left, knees to the right. And breathe. Inhale the knees back up. Set your hips off center to the right. Bring the knees in and over to the left. One more breath. Bring the knees all the way back up. If there is anything else your body needs before heading to Shavasana, go ahead and address that. Maybe you just want to give the knees a hug. Maybe you just want to lay down. I like to use a little pillow underneath my head, help lengthen the back of the neck.
If your back is bothering you, I recommend feet wide, toes in, heels out, knees falling towards one another. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't, but they're just relaxed inward. Otherwise, if your back's feeling okay, maybe an extension of those legs, feet still wide. Go ahead and place your fingertips on your hip bones or your lower belly. Let your elbows get nice and wide. And now you can decide to leave your hands where your fingertips are resting on the torso, or if you'd like, extend the elbows, palms up, arms out to the side. Whatever shape you decide, stay there. Resist the urge to shift it around unless something hurts. Instead, when you find a little bit of tension, I just found some in my shoulders. Exhale, exhale, exhale. We use the inhales to bring focus. So for this example, I'm going to bring my attention to my shoulders, and as I exhale, I'm going to work on releasing. And eventually, once your mind wanders off and you notice and you bring it back, do that exploration again. What tension did you bring back with you? And where did you put it? See if you can't let it go. Slowly allow your breath to deepen. And bringing your awareness back to your room, back to your breath, back to your body. We start with small movements, fingers and toes. Eventually wrists and ankles. Until you're ready to move around arms and legs. Eventually bending your knees, rolling over to your right side. Pause there for a breath or two. And then using the strength of your arms, go ahead and push yourself up to a comfortable seated position, eyes closed. So I had a wonderful weekend with girlfriends this past weekend. So to be honest, my mind sort of kept wandering back there. Wandering back to that ease. With friends you've known for, we've been doing this for about 25 years, and many of us have been friends longer than that. Some new. But most of these people I've known for a very long time. And there's an ease and a comfort with that. There's an ease of conversation. There's an ease in my own skin. And that ease is some of what we're looking for even in our physical body as we move about the mundane details of the day. Sitting at the computer, walking around the store, sorting things in our house, whatever it may be. We want to be easeful in our bodies. We want to be familiar with our bodies. We want to know what works, what doesn't work. We want to honor what we find. So wishing you that type of day, an easy day. That doesn't mean just laying on the couch all day. It can be an easy day and be very busy. Take care of yourself. Honor what your body is telling you. Wishing you peace and joy and love and light. Om Shanti 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 and Namaste.